Hello, everybody. Joey Richardson here again, and this time I'm going to do a movie review on one that I think everybody might be interested in hearing about. Bohemian Rhapsody just came out last year and has won numerous awards at the Oscars. So here's what I did do a little bit of looking up on YouTube, Mojo.com or WatchMojo.com. You know what they got right, what the movie got right, and what the movie didn't get right. But before I do that, I'm going to say, if you like my reviews, like, subscribe, whatever. Continue watching if you like them. So, first of all, we know that this is not a documentary, but however, it's a movie based on the true story of the band Queen and some of the events that happened. While Fred, while Freddie may have, been at a Smile concert and had left at his parents' house to go to the concert and run into a band who had just lost one of their members. Well, in actuality, that didn't happen. He did not. So that's one thing I credit Watch Mojo for, is that he actually knew Roger Taylor before joining the band, and even though Roger Taylor was the vocalist for Smile, he realized Freddie's voice was better suited to start the band. So just give me a second here and I'll continue on. Oh, and by the way, John Deacon did not immediately start with the band. They actually, at the time, John Deacon was not the original bassist. He was the fourth member to join, and he stuck with them after they went through three other bassists, and the chemistry was never good with the previous three. So going to John Deacon paid off a lot because he stuck with them till he decided before Mercury's death, which I will get into later in this video. Oh, and another thing that I will say is not true also. Queen did not sell their band. This this is true. They never sold their band to record an album. They actually got free recording from a couple of brothers who allowed them to get downtime and all that in the studio so that they could record their album and be able to still keep their band in the process. So that's one thing, you know. And another thing Freddie talks about, this is actually true. His teeth is credited for his voice, which he admitted he had extra incisors, which allowed him to sing high, and he refused to remove any of his teeth because he knew it would probably affect his voice, and he wouldn't be as effective. Oh, and as far as Ray Foster goes in the movie, played by Mike Myers, who a lot of people probably love from his Austin Powers days. Well, he's playing Ray Foster, and the band never clashed with Ray Foster. Although he is an antagonist in the movie that's supposed to be their obstacle, in the way of their obstacle. Well, I'm sorry, Ray Foster never clashed with Queen. But a point he brought up is right in the movie is Bohemian Rhapsody is too long, was considered too long. Well, that is true. Ray Foster's character, or Mike Myers' character Ray Foster, was right about that. Although Ray Foster himself didn't say that, it was more so the critics who said the production was great, but was pretentious and whatever. There was just some things they didn't like about it, but it was mostly mixed reviews from critics about the song being too long. But Ray Foster was never clashing with Queen, which it was actually another record producer who actually liked Queen and loved their music. He was actually, I don't remember the name, but he actually liked Queen very much. Unlike Ray Foster, who was just put into the movie for drama purposes. Oh, and Freddie and Mary's relationship lasted throughout Freddie's life. While yes, Freddie came out as bisexual, she still loved him and still wanted to be his friend, even though she ended their relationship and whatever. She's she still, she still had a house that Freddie bought for her. But their friendship was never bad or anything. And her child, even he became the godfather for her child until his death, which I thought was nice to know. Three Will Rock You was written in the 80s? No, 1977. It actually was maybe 70. Yeah, that's when it was actually released in 1977, not 1980. Another One Bites the Dust, my favorite song, however, was produced in 1980. So, yeah. Queen splitting up? No, not at all. They may have only taken breaks, like a 2 month break one time, but they never quit. And I mean, Freddie Mercury wasn't the only one to go solo. Also, Roger Taylor released a solo album before Freddie Mercury even did. So Taylor went solo first and then Mercury. But however, the band never was completely split up. They still performed together and all that. And here's a big thing you gotta know. This is false. Freddie knew he was HIV positive before Live Aid. No, he didn't even know before that show, which was a great performance from what I saw. And yeah, he actually didn't let anybody know until he got real sick and was about to die that he had HIV or AIDS. So yeah, the movie shows that the band embraced him when they found out, but the fact is they didn't know until he right before he died almost. So I still got time to explain thing. The movie was great because you know it showed some things. It wasn't a lot of music. Definitely great. Like I said, Another One Bites the Dust is my favorite song, but a lot of his other songs are good too. And they played a lot of his stuff, and it showed him going out touring everywhere and all that. And yes, after him and Mary were done, he did have a couple of relationships, and one of those guys named Paul was the one who caused him to get a solo career. It was basically dragging him down. Paul would answer the phone when Freddie's friends would call and would say he's busy recording, and he Freddie never answered calls, and Paul was basically dragging Freddie down. And Freddie eventually breaks up with Paul and says, "I never want to see you again," which I it didn't show Paul anymore after that. So basically, Paul did manage him for a little bit, but Freddie ended up breaking up with Paul, and basically just didn't want anything to do with him anymore. So yeah, but this guy Jim, he tried to look at Jim, and he eventually found Jim, and him and Jim remained friends during the last years of Mercury's life. But Mary, he always had a relationship with her and always remained friends, and it wasn't as bad as the movie made it. And yes, there like the HIV testing that showed before that Live Aid show. Well, that was just drama put into the movie, but I did like how the band would like start doing music. How they would come up with their songs and stuff. that was really cool, I think. And some of the parts were thrown into the movie for drama. You know, they were like a family. And yes, Freddie was the only one without a family of his own. The other three members, however, were married, and I guess they all had children. But yeah, they had families. Freddie didn't. So Freddie never felt like the odd man because of that. Freddie knew who he was in the band, and I don't think that really bothered him so much. I mean, after all, he had a godson from his ex. So what more could Freddie ask for? So his sexuality, no big deal. People can be who they want to, and I just want everybody to know that. But, however, I feel like I could do a little better. I mean, but for only seeing the movie once, and you know, I just enjoyed every bit of it. I mean, none of the stuff really bothered me. It was interesting for sure, but yeah, David Bowie was never seen in a movie performing with Queen. I'm not sure why he was excluded from the movie, but it did play a little bit of songs. Even if it didn't show him actually perform the song, it still played throughout the movie, and they even played songs that weren't Queen in a couple of parts of the movie. So I can understand that why this movie was so successful, but what I read to you from WatchMojo.com video, a lot of what I read was false, and yeah, just so you know, they just have to change up stuff and put stuff in it. But it's still worth a watch if you want to watch it. I mean, I'm sure a lot of y'all. I mean, I posted on Facebook about doing a review for this movie, and I know some of y'all liked my post, and even got comments. So if I didn't do as well as I would have liked, I'm sorry. I only had watched the movie once, but I still got a lot out of it. I mean, and I will name another part I like is when my favorite song, like when John Deacon uses his bass, plays his bass to just show the music a little bit. That was really cool, I thought. And the performances, as usual, were amazing. But yeah, that's all I'm pretty much gonna say. But don't forget, like, subscribe. If you want to comment, that's good too. But I'm hoping this review does, satisfy a lot of y'all. I'm still, this is only my third review, so I'm working hard to get better. So thank you everybody for tuning in and watching. Thank you. And again, I will be doing more reviews. If there's one you'd like me to do, don't hesitate to ask. But this is all. Bye bye.